Good morning. Myself, Janani, and my co-mate Sai Darshini of second year BCom LLB Shastra Dean University are going to handle the topic Introduction to Economics. Before we go deep into the topic, first let us understand what economics is. Economics is a study of how society manages its scarce resources. It focuses on the actions of human beings based on the assumption that humans act with rational behavior, seeking the most optimum level of benefit or utility. It studies how individual, business, government, and nations make choices about how to allocate resources. Economics is a social science devoted to study of how people and societies get what they need or want. Or in a more formal language, economics is a study of how societies divide and use their resources to produce goods and services, and how those goods and services are then distributed and consumed. Economics can be generally broken down into macroeconomics, which concentrates on the behavior of the economy as a whole, and microeconomics, which focuses on the individual people and businesses. It generally focuses on two important terms. Firstly, it deals with scarcity, which means tension between limited resources and unlimited wants and needs. A scarcity at large behaves in different ways, and how the scarcity behaves when it comes to managing the scarce resources that are available. Secondly, understanding the behavior. One is the form of macroeconomics point of view, and other is the form of microeconomics point of view. So, macroeconomics look at the total output of the nation and the way the nation allocates its limited resource of land, labor, and capital. Microeconomics also looks into similar issues, but on the level of individual groups and firms within the economy. So, understanding how many of these economic units are able to allocate the limited resources that is available on the land is important. Then, capitalism, socialism, communism are the types of economic system. The study of economics is generally broken down into two disciplines. First one is microeconomics. Microeconomics focuses on how individual consumers and firms make decisions. These individual decision making units can be a single person, household, business or organization, government agency. Analyzing certain aspects of human behavior, microeconomics tries to explain how they respond to changes in price and why they demand what they do at the particular price levels. Microeconomics also tries to explain how and why different goods are valued differently, how individuals make final decisions, and how individuals best trade, coordinate, and cooperate with one another. Microeconomics topics range from the dynamics of supply and demand to the efficiency and cost associated with producing goods and services. And they also include how labor is divided and allocated, how business firms are organized and function, and how people approach uncertainty, risk, and strategic game theory. Coming to the macroeconomics studies an overall economy on both the national and international level using highly aggregated economic data and variables to model the economy. Its focus can include distant geographical region, a country or a continent, or even the whole world. Its primary areas are the study are recurrent economic cycles and broad economic growth and development. Uh, Topics studied include foreign trade, government fiscal or monetary policy, unemployment rates, and we can say level of inflation and interest rates, growth of total production, as reflected by the changes in gross domestic product, GDP, or business cycles that result in expansion, boom, recession, depression, etc. And the resources are the basic ingredients that are needed to produce the goods and services that people buy. These ingredients can be physical things such as land and factory equipment, and they can be intangible things such as intellectual and emotional capacities of people whose work is necessary for the production of goods and services. Mm. Whether a service is rich or poor, large or small, resources are, from the viewpoint of economics, scarce. This means that almost everyone in the country would like more goods and services that can be ever be produced, given a limited supply of resources and an unlimited desire on the part of individual consumers and nations. Choices must be made about what goods and services to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. And then economic indicators are reports that detail a country's economic performance in a specific area. These reports are usually published periodically by the government agencies or private organizations, and they often have a considerable effect on stocks, fixed income, and forex market when they are released. They can also be very useful for investors, those who judge how economic conditions will move markets and guide investment decisions. Okay. Then there are two ways in which the nation puts its economic principles in place. One could be driven by market economics, the other could be driven by command economics. The government has to decide the allocation of these resources. This explains two popular theory, that is Adam Smith capitalist theory and Marxian communist theory. In a market economy, the ownership is diverse, whereas command economy, the government owns the assets. So, for deep understanding, other than these economics try to achieve economic value by allocating capital. Finally, different nations have different theories of economics based on which they allocate capital. Either they allow the market forces to determine the allocation, or its government actually regulates and allocates its resources, whatever it's easy for them. And now let's understand the fundamental of economics, the three interrelated actions of an economic man who forms the center of the economic ecosystem. Example, an economic man produces goods and services. From this production, he earns income, which constitutes the earning power. And from this income, he spends his wants, and which increases his expenditure. And in turn, this expenditure stimulates production also. So this means that an economic man should be more productive. For a more detailed understanding, my co-mate Sai Darshini will be handling some of the important topics regarding introduction to economics.